asking questions, listening, powerfully listening, thinking, empathizing, learning, memorizing, and closing for a decision. And that's why it takes some work. It's not going to come naturally. There are 10 steps. I'll go through the 10 steps quickly as an outline, and then I'll go through each one individually. The first time you hear an objection, you want to ignore it. By the way, you want to memorize these 10 steps, learn them, so that you can guide yourself through them, and pretty soon, after a while, like riding a bike, not too much balance, and all of a sudden they fall into place and they come naturally for you. They just occur to you. That's me snapping my fingers. They just occur to you. When you first hear an objection, you ignore it. We'll talk about the details of this in a moment. If the person, if ignoring it, the person brings it back to your attention, it's obviously not going to be ignored. You listen like crazy. You listen plus 4, which means 4 seconds. You listen plus like crazy, and let the person finish. Don't interrupt. And then, if they didn't speak, if they didn't solve the objection themselves just by speaking about it, which happens, you feed it back real nicely. So you want to sell it yourself, okay? So you're giving them an opportunity to tell you more. And then, if they haven't sort of set it aside themselves, and that'll happen sometimes, just because you're so empathetic, you're so attentive, then you question it, you probe a little deeper, you understand it better, because the reasons that they're objecting, you're going to turn around and they're going to become the reasons that they buy, or that they list, or that they make the decision you want them to make. And then, if that hasn't overcome the objection, you isolate it, and you make sure that it's the only thing standing in the way, and if not, then you understand what the other things standing in the way are. And then, once you've got it identified and isolated and you've probed it, you align with the prospect, you cushion it, you make sure that they feel comfortable with you, so now before you address it, they're listening to you. And then you reframe it as a question. And I'll show you the language to do that. That'll be one of the brief scripts you're going to learn, is how you reframe that as a question. And then once you're clear on the question, they've agreed that this is the real question that they need to have answered. So it's not that you don't want to pay a commission. It's the real question is that you want to really make sure that you net the most money in your pocket. Isn't that the real question? You reframe it as a question. And then you're ready to answer the question. And I'm going to give you 6 ways to answer the question. Now, you may use more than one of them, but you may not use all of them all the time. And then once you've answered the question, you're going to tie it down. You're going to ask for a decision. You're going to test close it. And then when you see that you're getting agreement, you're going to do what's called an assumptive close. You're going to proceed to a decision.